Students, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So Sir would have told you that today I am going to teach socket programming. Okay. So first, let us see what is socket. In theory, you would have learned what is socket. So anyways, one more time, there is nothing wrong in seeing what is socket one more time. Just a second. Just a second. Yeah, fine. So socket is an endpoint of a bidirectional communications channel between server and client. Every networking process is associated with a socket. For example, consider a chat application. In a chat application, there will be two entities. One entity you can call as X, another entity you can call as Y. If X and Y needs to communicate using this chat application, you can consider the computer on the left is X, the computer on the right is Y. Okay, so X has to launch the chat application in his machine. Same way, Y has to launch chat application in his machine. Okay, so when the chat application is launched, process is created. Okay, so you know that from operating system background, for any program you run in the computer, one process gets created. Okay, so X is running a chat application here, Y is running a chat application here. Okay, so one process created here, one process created Y's machine. Okay, and chat application is a networking application. Okay, so for the chat process in X machine, one socket created. Okay, and for chat process in Y's machine, one socket created. Okay, so this socket is going to be the endpoint. Is going to be the endpoint of this communication. Okay, so every networking process should be associated with a socket, and every socket is associated with a unique port number and address. Okay, so now in X's machine, the socket of X has an IP address of this machine, also the socket of Y also will have the IP address, but that IP address is of this machine and the port number. Okay, and for some popular applications, we have reserved port numbers. For example, if you take HTTP, that is if you are launching a web browser, It's a networking application. If you launch a web browser in your machine, and for that application, one port number will be there. Okay, so web browser uses HTTP protocol. So for HTTP protocol, the port number should be 80. Okay, so same way here, if you are developing your own networking application, then you have to choose the port number after 1024, because 0 to 1024 is reserved. After that, any port number you can use for your application. Okay, and the experiments, the exercises, what you are going to do in socket programming, mostly it will be like this. There will be one client program, there will be a server program. Client will send a message to server, and server will simply echo it. Okay, so it's a networking application. So client will have a port number and server will have a port number, and these port numbers will be above 1024, that you will see shortly now. Okay, so this is one of the exercises you will be doing. Client will send some message to server, server will simply echo it. Okay, in another exercise, client will send some message to the server, and server might operate on that message. Maybe server reverse the message. Server might count how many occurrences of a particular character. Server might check the length of the message. So these are some of the exercises you will be implementing shortly, and client will send one number, integer number, to the server, and server has to find whether the received number is a prime number or not, and it will return the result to the client. So client will print the message the number is a prime number or not. Okay, so in these experiments you are going to develop networking application. Okay, and these are not proprietary applications, and exactly, it is not proprietary. It is not like predefined applications. Okay, these are the user owned applications. So for these applications you will be using the port numbers above 1024, and the programming language what we are going to use is Python. Okay, you can do socket programming using C, Java, and any programming languages, but nowadays Python is a popular programming language, and students also are loving the Python programming language. So that's why we are going to do socket programming using Python. And I hope that you are all comfortable with Python. So am I right or not, students? Are you all comfortable with Python? Are you comfortable in learning socket programming using Python, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So now, having seen what is socket, let us move to the next slide. Yeah, how to create a socket in Python. Okay, I don't have more number of slides, just 4 slides, and most of the concepts I am going to explain with the demo only. So how to create a socket? So there is a socket function, and the socket function is available in the class socket. Okay, so the socket function takes 4 arguments, as I am highlighting. First argument is called address family, and this address family can have any one of the following values. It can be AF underscore INET, or AF underscore INET6, or AF underscore Unix or AF underscore CAN or AF underscore packet or AF underscore RDS. So this address family can take any one of these 6 values. Okay, and we are going to use only AF underscore INET. Okay, this is for IP version 4, and this is AF underscore INET 6 is for IP version 6. Okay, and in all our examples, we are going to use AF underscore INET, that is meant for IP version 4, and you can ignore the others. Okay, the rest 5 can be ignored. Okay, so this is all about the address family, and then next argument is socket type. Okay, and once again, the socket type can be any one of these 5 values. Okay, sock underscore stream, sock underscore DGRAM, sock underscore raw, sock underscore RDM, sock underscore sequence packet. Okay, and out of these 5, we will be using only these 2. Okay, so the others can be ignored. Sock underscore stream deals with TCP. Okay, if you want TCP protocol, if you want to use TCP, then your socket type should be this one, socket dot sock underscore stream. If you are going to use UDP, then it should be socket dot sock and DGRAM, and I will be showing examples for both the cases. Okay, and the next 2 arguments, proto and file number, these 2 arguments we are not going to use. As we are not going to use, let us not worry about their purpose or meaning. Okay, so they are not used usually. Okay, so socket function takes 2 arguments. One is address family, and this address family is going to be always AF underscore INET, and the second argument is socket type, and depending on whether you want to do TCP or UDP, the value for socket type will vary. And as I said already, sock underscore stream for TCP, sock underscore DGRAM is for UDP. Okay, so now we will see our first socket programming, and it is going to be TCP based socket programming. After that, we will see UDP based socket programming. Okay, first TCP based socket programming. Okay, and in TCP based socket programming, there is a sequence of steps to be performed. Okay, that is called sequence of socket API calls and data flow for TCP. Okay, so here we have a server, here we have a client. Okay, first server has to create a socket, client also has to create a socket. Okay, after server has created the socket, socket has to be associated with the IP address and port number of the socket, because in the first slide only we have seen that every socket is associated with an unique port number or address. Okay, so in all TCP based socket programming, the procedure is this: server will create the socket first. After creating the socket, server will bind the IP address of the server machine and the port number of the server machine to the created socket. That is called bind operation, and that is achieved using bind function. Once I show the program, you understand. And the next step is listening. Server will start listening for the connection. Server will start listening for the incoming request, okay, from the clients. So the next step is listening. Okay, and as it listens, now at the client side, any client wants to connect to the server, first client has to create the socket. Okay, but at the client side, binding is not required. Okay, Once the socket is created at the client side, now client can connect to server. So to connect to server, client has to execute connect function. Okay. So this connect will establish connection using three-way handshaking, and you are familiar with three-way handshaking and all. So I need not to explain that. From theory, you would have learned it. So when a client executes connect function, client has to specify the IP address of the server machine to which it wants to establish the connection. Okay, at the same time, providing the IP address, it also has to provide the port number of the application at the server side. Okay, so all this time, server is listening, right? As soon as a connection request has come from a client, server has to run accept function and accept the connection request. Okay, so all this time server was listening. Now as a request is coming from a client, now server is accepting the connection request from the client using the accept function. Okay, so once connection is established, so after this point, connection is established. So once connection is established, now client can send messages which server can receive. Server can send messages which receiver can receive. Okay, once server and client are done with the communication, both client and server will close the connection. Okay, so this is the general procedure to be followed in every TCP oriented client server programming. Okay, so I repeat the procedure. Server has to first create the socket, then bind IP address of the server and the port number of the application to the created socket, then start listening. Then if there is any connection request comes from the client, accept it. Okay, so these are the methods in this order should be executed. Okay, at the client side, client first create the socket, and whenever client wants to connect to a server, client will execute connect method, okay, to the server with which it wants to communicate. Okay, so once the connection established, then both server and client can start sending messages each other using send method and receive messages using RECV method. Okay, then finally connection can be closed once communication is complete. Okay, so if you have any questions on this, you can go ahead and ask. If you don't have any question, we can go and see our first socket programming. You have any questions, students?
Sir, in the client, why aren't we binding it, sir? Because there, if we don't bind it, the IP address and port number won't be there, no, sir.
In client side, that is not required because let me check the client code. Just a second. So we have server code. Maybe only the socket which is listening, only that socket has to bind, I think. Okay, so that's why the binding is happening at the server side, whereas client is not listening. Okay, client is not listening, right? Usually in all networking application, if you see, always client needs services from the server. Okay, so server only will be listening. Client is not going to serve anything to any of the machines in the network. So client is not going to listen. Okay, as the client is only utilizing the services, so it is not going to listen. That's why here binding is not required, whereas in the server, as it listens, binding is required. Okay, so that is the reason why binding is not happening at the client side. Okay,
Yes.
so apart from this, any other questions, students? Any other questions? Give some response, students. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Shall we go and see the first socket programming? Are you ready to see your first socket programming?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here the objective is very simple. So the objective is client is going to send a message to the server. Server is going to receive it and print it. Okay. So I type the objective here. Client is going to send a message to the server, which receives the message and prints it. Very simple objective. Okay, so going forward, we can see some meaningful objective, in the sense little complicated objective we can see going forward. Okay, so here we have to write server program and we have to write client program. Okay, because two processes. Okay, and what you are seeing is the server code. It's a Python code, and first you have to import the socket. Okay, so this import statement and all, you know, because already you have studied Python programming. Okay, and in the next step at the server side, we are creating a socket. Okay, already in the slide we have seen that we use socket method to create the socket, and first two arguments only we will be using. Okay, so we are creating the socket, and as you see, there are two arguments provided. The first argument is af underscore inet, socket dot af underscore inet, and this is the value we are going to use in all our exercises. Okay, and second argument, and this is TCP server, TCP client, this example exercise. So we have to use socket dot sock underscore stream as it is mentioned in the slide. If you are going to deal with TCP, use sock underscore stream. Okay, so at this highlighted statement, server socket is created. So the right hand side is creating a socket, and that socket is referred by server socket. So server socket is a reference. The name of this reference can be anything. Here I have chosen it as server socket. Okay, so once the socket is created, The next step is binding the IP address and the port number to the created socket. Okay, so that is what is happening in the next step. Okay, so in the next step, binding. Okay, and this bind method takes one argument. Okay, but we are going to issue two values. That's why we have parentheses inside the parentheses. Okay, so if you look at the first value, it is the IP address of the server. Okay, so first value should be IP address of the server machine. Okay, and the second value should be the port number of this application. Okay, port number of this application. Here the application is server is receiving a message from the client and it is printing it. That is the application we are developing here. Okay, for that application we need to have a port number, and I told you that you can have any value after 1024, and here I am using 25,000. That is my port number. Okay, and this binding binds IP address of the server. IP address of the server or any machine you can get this way using get host name. Okay, so get host name gets the host name of the machine. Okay, host name means there will be an IP address also. Okay, for example, www.google.com. Google is the host name. Okay, you know that for human being, remembering the numbers are always difficult compared to remembering the names. That's why whenever you need to access Google server, you don't type the IP address of the Google server. You type host name of the Google server, which is google.com. Okay, exactly, it is Google. Okay, so you know, behind the scenes, this DNS and all will come into the picture, and it will translate the host name to the IP address and all, right? So there is a get host name method. It is available in the socket class. Okay, using this method, you can get the IP address of the server. And in this demo, my server as well as client both are running in the same machine. In my machine, laptop, both client and server are running. Okay, so it is going to be localhost. Okay, localhost in the sense 127.0.0.1. So instead of socket.get host name, you can also type 127.0.0.1. So this also will do. Okay, but let us use this get host name. Okay, so you know what bind does? It associates IP address of the server machine and the port number of this application to the socket created in the previous line. So binding is done. Okay, so after the binding, we have to listen. Server has to start listening. So that listening is happening here by calling listen method. Okay, and by printing a message, we are showing that server is listening. Okay, and once server is listening, it is waiting for the connection from a client. Okay, so it executes accept method. Okay, so when you encounter this statement, the meaning is that server start listening and if any request comes, it will accept. Okay, so server socket dot accept. This accept method also you have to call on the created socket. Okay, and this accept method is going to return two values. Accept is a method, usually when you invoke method, it will return values to you. Okay, so it can return one value, some methods can return more than one value. Here accept method returns two values. Okay, so the first value is connection. Okay, so the connection has been established, right? The established connection has to be maintained, or the established connection should be referred. There should be some reference pointing the established connection, right? So that established connection is available in the variable called connection. Okay, and one more value what it returns is the IP address of the client machine whose connection has been accepted. Okay, so whichever client's connection has been accepted, that client's IP address as well as port number, both will be available in the address variable. Okay, so I'm just printing both of them so that you will understand it better. So when I execute, once again I will explain these three statements. Okay, so once connection is established, I am just printing a message. So I want to be more informative, so I am printing a message, connection has been established. Okay, so once connection has been established, as per the objective, client will send a message. I have not yet shown the client code, I will show shortly. As per the objective, client is going to send a message. Okay, and server has to receive it. That's why server is executing receive method. Okay, so whatever data being exchanged between server and client in Python, especially send method. Send method is to send a message. Okay, so the send method sends bytes. Okay, message is usually string. Okay, we create messages using string in Python, but the send method sends the data in byte format. Okay, that you have to keep in mind. Okay, so more about that I will explain in the coming lines. So here server is executing receive method because as per the objective, client is going to send a message. Okay, so this receive method RECV, we have to execute on the connection variable, because this connection variable points to the connection which has been established between client and server. Okay, so this connection variable holds the connection between the client and the server. Okay, so you have to call receive method on the established connection, and it says that the size of the message should not be more than 1024 bytes. That is what this 1024 indicates. Okay, and whatever message is received, that is going to be available in message. Okay, and I told you that send at the client side would have sent bytes. Okay, so this MSG is a byte now. Okay, and when you are going to print the received message, because as per the objective, once the server receives the message from the client, server has to print it, because that is what our objective is. Okay, so when you need to print, you have to decode. You have to decode the bytes, because MSG is having bytes now. My message is in the form of bytes. Okay, so before I print the bytes, I have to decode it. I have to convert it to a string. Okay, that is what is happening. MSG is bytes here, that I am converting to string using decode method. Okay, so then whatever message server has received from the client, that will be printed. Okay, then you close the connection, also close the socket. This is what happens at the client side. Sorry, at the server side. Now I will open the client side code. Client side code is here only, but let me open it in a new window. Yeah, going to a new window. Yes, so that the comparison will be good. Okay, so client side also socket getting created. Okay, so after socket is created, at the client side, no binding and all, no accepting and all. Connect method we have to execute at the client side. Okay, so after the socket created at the client side, we are calling connect method at the client side on the created socket. Okay, so when you try connecting to a server, you need to specify IP address of the server or host name of the server. Here, I told you that my client code, server code, both are running in the same machine. Okay, so socket dot get host name is going to get the host name of my machine. Host name of my machine is Saravanan only. Okay, name of my machine is Saravanan. Okay, you can also, as I said, you can also give 127.0.0.1. It is the IP address of the local host. So server process, client process, both are running in the local host machine, in the local machine here. Okay, so instead of directly also you can specify the host name instead of getting the host name using get host name method. Okay, and also you have to specify the port number of the process or port number of the application to which you are trying to connect, because at the server side there will be several applications running. Each and every application will have a different port number, and you have to clearly specify to which application you want to establish the connection. Okay, so at the server side, what is the port number? 25,000. So that number only you have to specify here. Okay, and the message what we are going to send to the server is hello server. Okay, now this message is string because the right hand side is string, right? So Python will infer the data type automatically. This and all Python basics. I am not here to teach Python basics. You should be familiar with all these. Okay, so message is string here, and I told you that send method will not send the string, will send bytes only. Okay, we have to encode. Okay, the bytes, sorry, the message is the string, right? That has to be encoded to bytes so that encoding happens. Now, client is sending the message. So when the client sends the message, that message is received by this receive method. Okay, then it prints as per the objective. Then client closes the connection. That is closing the, not closing the connection, closes the socket. Okay, whereas server is closing the connection, then it closes the socket. First connection has to be closed, then only the socket has to be closed. So this is the code. Okay, client server code. If you have any questions on this client server code, your first client server program, if you have any questions, any of the statements you are not able to understand, any code snippet if you are not able to understand, you can go ahead and ask your doubts. Otherwise, I will execute and show now. Any questions, students? Any doubts? Are you all there or not? Students, are you all there or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, any questions? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Give some response. If there is no doubt, then say no. If there is a doubt, ask. Hello? No doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Shall we go and see the execution now?
Yes, sir.
We go and see the
Yes,
execution
sir.
now. Okay, good. So what you need to do is you need to open two terminals, and we are going to run our experiments in Ubuntu. Okay, you can also do it in Windows if you want. Okay, but I'm not going to show you how to do it in Windows. That uh, uh, you have to learn on your own and do it. Okay, but I am going to use Ubuntu. Okay, so open two terminals, because in one terminal I am going to run server, in another terminal I am going to run client. Okay, let me move to the path where my programs are kept. Okay, first you have to start the server. Okay, you know how to execute Python program. Python, my server programs file name is server.py. Server.py. So first you have to start server. So you see server is listening now. Okay, so socket created, server side, binding is done at the server side, and now server is listening. Okay, it will be kept listening. Now let me start client in the another terminal. Okay, so just see what is happening. Okay, observe this terminal also. Okay, now client is going to establish connection with the server. Okay, so you can see as soon as I execute the client code, you can see after server is listening, once client initiated the connection request, server accepted it. After server has accepted it, I wanted to show you what exactly is there in connection and address. That's why I am printing connection and address. First I am printing the connection. So after server is listening message, if you see connection, I am printing connection now. So that connection is having this much information. Okay, so ignore this one. I also don't know what is this. Maybe I think I don't know this particular value. You can ignore it. But look at the other things. So address family is AFINet. Okay, and socket type is sock underscore stream, which is TCP, and this protocol is 0. This also you just leave it, not required. Listening address, this is server. Okay, and receiving address. Okay, so this is client details, this is server details. Okay, so I told you that server code, client code, both are running in the same machine. Okay, so localhost IP address is 127.0.0.1. Okay, so server IP address and client IP address both are same here. Okay, and server port number, 25,000. Okay, client port number I have not specified anywhere in the client code. If you look at client port number is not specified anywhere. This is server port number only. Okay, but when the connection is accepted, this accept method is returning two values, right? One is connection, and another one is address, right? So this accept method can extract the IP address as well as the port number of the client. Okay, so accept method will infer that automatically. Okay, so here client's port number is 42,032. Okay, and hello. Who is this? Abhishek, you have unmuted yourself for asking question, or okay, the mistake you have done that, I think. So students, invade in the class, don't disturb us. Okay, I think number of students supposed to be around 145, but only 111 students are there. I don't know why. Okay, I will do one thing. I will download the list and share it with Kula sir. Okay, download. Okay, so just to show you clearly what is in address, what is in connection, I have used these print statements. So I showed what is there in connection. Okay, so this is the connection. It has the connection details. Okay, and address. So this address is a variable that is going to give you the IP address of the client machine with which connection got established, also the port number of the client application. Okay, port number is 42,032. Okay, and then next message, connection has been established. Okay, and once the connection got established, client is sending the message using send method, and that message which is sent is received at the server side by receive method, and then I am printing it. That's why client has sent hello server exclamation as the message, and that message we are printing at the server side now. Okay, so this is all about the entire application. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask now. Now you have seen the code, you have seen the execution, how to execute and all. So if you have a question, you can go ahead and ask now. You have any questions, students? Come on, students, give some response. Don't be what to say. You have to be active and give some responses, students. Hello.
No doubts, sir.
Okay, no doubts, right? Shall we move to the next topic? Huh?
Yes, sir.
So
Okay.
in the client part,
Ah,
in the third line of code,
yeah.
client socket dot connect. The first argument is socket dot get host name.
Yeah, it is supposed to be the IP address of the server machine with which client wants to connect. And here, client and server both are running inside the same machine. Okay, so
Okay.
if I use get host name, okay, this current machine's host name, it will return to me. Okay, so the socket created, right? Where this socket created? This socket created in this machine. Okay, that socket is having get host name method. Using that method, you can get the current machine's IP address or host name. Okay, so this can be replaced with 127.0.0.1. So I will also do it with that and show. Okay, still it is working, right? And you see now port number of the client is changing. Okay, so it will keep changing. It is not fixed, but whereas server's port number is fixed. You have mentioned what port number server application should have, but client's port number will keep changing. Okay, so it is a basic. Okay, whenever a process gets created, you know that from operating system you would have learned that for every process there is a process identifier. Okay, so the process identifier for the process is not fixed, it will keep varying, right, depending on how many number of processes currently running and etc. Process identifier will vary, right? The same way port number for the process also will keep varying depending on the current status of the machine. Okay, any other questions now? Any other questions, students?
Yes, sir. So when I executed this program, I'm not getting the local host IP address, sir. I'm getting my local computer's IP address. So why is that so, sir?
What number you are getting? Can you tell me?
Yes, sir. I'm getting 192.168.1.6. So that's my local IP address. That's what local host.
You used get host name or what?
I have used get host name, sir.
And you are getting 192.
192.168.1.6, and this is in Windows. So,
Okay. See that happens because I think you are connected to Wi-Fi, right?
yes, sir.
So Wi-Fi modem you got connected, and every machine connected to Wi-Fi modem will have an IP address because it's a part of a network, right?
Yes, sir.
So that IP address Windows is giving, but in Ubuntu you will not get it. You if you have Ubuntu, you also try it in Ubuntu. You are not going to get that 192 thing. You will get the 127 or the host name of your machine.
Oh, okay, sir. Yes, sir. I'll try that.
Yeah. Any other questions, students? Any other questions? Shall we move to the next example? Shall we move to the next example, students? Give some response. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Why only one is responding? I think others are sleeping. Is it so? Or others are not sitting in front of the machine? Just joining to the call and leaving. Most of you are doing that one only, I think. Okay. Anyways, I will finish my part. Okay, let us move to the next example. Okay. So in the next example, yeah. So here I type first. I type the objective. So objective is server is going to send a number to the client which adds 100 to the received number and print the addition. This is the objective. Server is going to send a number to the client which adds 100 to the received number and print the addition. Okay. So first I show you the I can move to a new. Yeah. So you are seeing server code, and here I have my client code. Okay. So everything is same. Okay. This host name I'm just printing. Okay. So I'm just showing print socket dot get host name. Okay. So it will print the name of this machine, name of this host. The name of this host is Saravanan. Okay, you can see here host name of this machine is Saravanan, and HD user is the user account. HD user is the user account of this machine. There are several user accounts. Saravanan is itself is one of the user account. HD user is another user account. Currently, I have logged in to HD user account, and guest session also one of the user accounts in this machine. And this Saravanan is the host name of the machine. Whenever you install operating system, it will ask you the host name. You have to feed it. Okay, so that is the name this one refers. Okay, so when you execute this, host name will be printed, Saravanan will be printed, that you can try and check. Okay, anyways, for this objective, this is not required. Just to make things clear, I have done that. So we are creating a socket, and once again it's a TCP socket, and we are binding the socket to the server machine's IP address and port number, and then we start listening. Server starts listening and then accepting. Okay, so here again I'm just printing what connection holds, what address holds, that already I have shown. So again, these print statements are not required. So let me simply remove them. Then connection has been established message you print, and I told you that server is going to send a number to the client. Okay, that number is 25. Okay, so that number is treated as a string here. Okay, and I will show you shortly how that number I am converting, how that number I am going to get. Okay, so 25 is my number. I am treating it as a string here, and then I am sending. Server has to send the number. No, so that number is available in message as a string. Okay, and send method can transfer only bytes. So, but message is string here. That string I am encoding to bytes. Okay, and then I am sending. Okay, now at the client side, client has to receive it. Okay, so client is receiving it. Okay, and here also host name not required. Okay, so client is receiving it, and that message is available in MSG, that is 25 in bytes form is available in MSG, that I am decoding. I am converting that bytes to a string in this line. In this line, I am doing that. Okay, so now received is 25 in string form. Okay, and as per the objective, that number has to be added to 100, right? But received is string, so that I have to convert to an integer. So in Python, string can be converted to int using int method. So using int method, I am converting received, which is 25, but in string form, to an integer. Then I am adding 200. So 125. I am printing the number 125 will be printed. Okay, then I am closing the connection. Okay, so it's a very simple example. I will start running. So file name is server echo.py. Okay, so here I have not printed any message like the previous case. Here there is no message server is listening. That's why no message got printed. It is nothing but server is listening now. Okay, now let me run client. Client file name is client_echo. Yeah. So 125 got printed. Okay. So once connection established, we are printing a message, connection has been established, and then you know what is happening. 25 we are sending to client, and client is receiving it and then adding 100 to it, then printing it. That's why we are seeing the added number 125. Okay, is it clear, students? Is this the example clear? Is this exercise clear? Is this exercise clear or not, students?
Yes.
Any doubts you have? Any doubts? Okay. Shall we move to the UDP now? Shall we move to the UDP now, students? Give the response.
Yes, sir.
What you have decided to not give any response. New person is coming and teaching. Our regular faculty is not there. So you have decided to not give any response. Is it like that? Is it like that? Even for this also no response. Say something, students.
No, sir.
No,
Huh? Okay, let us move to UDP now. You know the difference between UDP and TCP. Can anyone of you tell me the difference? Can anyone of you tell me the difference? Shall I call some names from the list here? Whoever is not answering, shall I make absent? What do you say, students? Shall I mark absent? Who is not responding? Okay. Vikash, are you there? Papana Vikash.
Yes, sir, I'm there. Sir.
Then why are you not responding, man?
No, sir, I'm responding. Initially, I responded, sir. Now,
Initially you responded. Okay, good.
no, sir. I mean, in between also I responded, but my voice is not audible to you. Maybe.
Oh, great. Okay. Shruti, are you there? Shruti? Shruti?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm present.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Nada Vikash, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I called 3 students. All of them have responded. But whenever I ask like questions like you have any questions to ask, whenever I ask you to give some response, you people are not responding. Only when your name is pointed, you will respond. Is it like that? Is there anything like only when faculty member is pointing out, you should respond? Is there anything like that in online classes? You have to give some response, students. Then only we will have to see. If you are not responding, whenever I ask questions like you have any questions to ask, any doubts, shall we move to the next topic? You have to give some response. Okay. Let me see whether you are giving a response or not for the other concepts. So shall you go and see UDP concept, right, students?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will go and see UDP socket program now. Nothing much different, students. Only thing is that this is the flow. In UD, there's no connection establishment. This you know. Okay, it is connection less transport layer protocol. Okay. Server like TCP server, here also you have to socket. Then binding. After that, there is no accepting and all. Okay. Only when you have that accept, only when you have that connect, three-way handshaking takes place. But here, that's like that. Okay. That's it. You can start sending or you can start receiving from any client. Okay. And at the UDP client, you see just creating the socket and connection establishment. Okay. So here, as there is no connection establishment, there is no connect method. Every time when client is sending, it has to specify the IP address and the port number. That is the one difference, because here there is no connect method. As there is no connect method, every time client has something to send to the server, client has to specify the IP address of the server as well as the port number of the server. Okay. So this I will show you in the program. Okay. So we will go to the code directly, because already you know the difference between TCP and UDP. In theory, you would have studied it in detail. And here I also have showed the difference, where the difference lies in the procedure, in the steps to be followed. Okay. There is no listen, accept, there is no connect. Okay. So that just keep in mind. And in the TCP, we have send method, RECE method. Whereas for UDP, we have send method, RECE from method. So this is the another difference you have to keep in mind. Now let us go to your UDP. Okay. So we have side by side UDP code, UDP server code, and UDP client code. Okay. So here, as you are going to deal with UDP, you have to use your socket type as sock_DGRAM. Okay. Whereas if you are using TCP, then sock_stream. But this is UDP, so sock_DGRAM. That is datagram. So at the server side, we are creating the socket. Same method only we are using, socket method. Okay. And then UDP host. Okay. So get host name. This will get you the host name of this machine. 1.0.0.1 or my host name is Saravanan. Okay. Then port number. This is server's port number, server's IP address. Okay. Then binding is required. Okay. This we could have done it directly. This may be confusing you, so I will use directly like our UDP TCP code. So let us keep the things simple. Why unnecessarily two statements? Remove them. Okay, so binding to be done as per the flow. Binding is required, right? Then waiting for client message will be printed. Okay, just to keep the things more informative. Okay, and let us see what is happening at the server side, client side. Yeah. So client is creating a socket, and it should be a UDP socket. That's why sock_dgram, and client is actually here. What is required is, I will remove this. Let us keep the thing simple. Socket underscore get host UDP port should be A1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So here the objective is very simple. The objective is client is going to send a message. Hello server. That is the message. Client is going to send to the server, and server is going to receive that message, and it is going to print the message. Not only the message, from which client the message has come from, that client's IP address it is going to print. That is how the print statement is written. Okay, so anyways, shortly we will see that. So client is going to send a message, right? So here you see there is no connect, and at the server side you see there is no listen, accept method and all. Okay, so you see how client is sending the message, and client has to use send to method, and that send to method you have to call on the created socket. Okay, and send to method is taking two arguments. Okay, so this is one argument. The first argument is message to be sent. Message to be sent is hello server exclamation, and MSG is string, and once again you have to send it as bytes. That's why encode. This is the first argument. The message, the data to be sent. The second argument is here there is no connection establishment, right? So every time any process, it can be a client process or it can be a server process. Anytime when they need to send and they are going to use send to, they can't simply send the message alone. They also have to specify the IP address and port number where the message needs to be sent. Okay, so that is going to be the second argument. Okay, so we have to specify the IP address of the machine to which we are sending this message. Also, the port number of the application that is going to receive this message. Okay, so what is the port number? Server is running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that port number is specified, and this get host name is going to get the IP address of the server. IP address of the server is 127.0.0.1 because both server and client are running in the same machine. So you should understand the difference between send method and send to method. Send method you use with TCP. Once the connection established, using send method you will simply send the messages. You need not to specify the receiving entity's address details, like the port address details, the IP address details, you need not to specify. Whereas with the UDP, when you use send to method, as you are not establishing any connection and it is connection less transmission, you need to spend every time along with your message the IP address and the port address to which you are sending. That is what we are doing. Okay, and now here receive from we have to use. not RECV. We have to use receive from, and it indicates that the number of bytes, maximum number of bytes is 1024. Okay, and here receive from is returning two values. One is data, what is received, and another one is ADDR. It is nothing but receive from is receiving a message from one particular machine, in this case from the client machine. The client's address details will be available in ADDR. Okay, so RECV from, the message has been sent, it is also receiving the address details of the machine from which the message has been received, in this case client. Okay, so this ADDR, if you print, you will get to know the IP address of the client machine as well as the port number of the client application, client process, you will get to know. Okay, then we have a print statement, received messages colon the data dot encode. Okay, so data is hello server, that will be printed from ADDR. Client's IP address as well as port number will be printed. Okay, so we will execute and we will, so that you will be able to understand this ADDR and all in a better way. So here also you need to start server, client, server first, then followed by client. So waiting for client. Okay, waiting for client is getting printed. Okay, so now let's go to client. So you are seeing, right, received messages. The data refers to the message. Hello server exclamation from. We have space from. So that space from also printed, and then ADDR. So ADDR, I told you that IP address of the client machine from which we received the message, also the port number of the client process from which we received the message. Okay, so the client port number, client processes port number is 39,345. Okay, whereas server's port number is 12,345. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can go ahead and ask me your questions. That UDP, and if you have any doubts, need any clarifications in understanding the difference between the UDP code and TCP code. Okay, there we use send and receive RECV. Here we use send to and receive from. And every time we are sending message, not only we are specifying the message what we want to send, we also have to specify the IP address of the machine to which we are sending, including the port number you have to specify. And when receive method receives the message, receive from method receives the message, it is not only returning the message, it will also return the IP address and port number of the machine from where the message has been received. Okay, so any questions, students? Any questions? Give some
No, sir.
Have you understood UDP completely? Have you understood the difference? Okay, I will ask some questions randomly. Pratik. Pratik, are you there? Pratik. Pratik, are you there? Pratik, not there. Navya, KNSS. Navya, Navya, are you there? Are you
Yes,
there?
sir. Yes, sir.
Navya. Pratik, what you are doing, man?
Sir.
What you are doing? I called you to so many
Yes, sir.
times.
Yes, sir. But there is somewhat a network issue, sir. That's why.
Yes, you tell somewhat network issue. Okay, now can you tell me with respect to socket programming, what is the difference between UDP and TCP?
So according to socket programming,
Socket programming,
UDP and TCP, sir.
with respect to socket programming. Hello? Are you there? You know the difference or not? Okay, fine. Okay, students. Any questions, students, on socket programming? If you don't have any questions, I'm going to display practice questions now. Any questions, students?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine, students. I will now display the exercise questions. You can note down. Write a TCP program that sends a number to TCP server program which finds the received number is a prime or not. The number is prime or not result to be printed by client finally. Okay, so client will send one number to server. Server has to check whether that number is prime number or not, and accordingly it has to send the result to client. So on receiving the result, client has to print the result. Okay, and the same objective in the next exercise you are doing with UDP. Okay, and the third objective is write a TCP client program that sends a string to a TCP server program which reverses the received string. The reversed string should be printed by client. Okay, so client will send one string to server, server will reverse it, and server will send back the reversed string to the client, and client will finally print it. Okay, then you can try one UDP chat application, sample chats of your application. So this chat application should chat application and sample message of this chat application is given here. Server reply, okay, enter message to send how are you, server reply, okay, how are you, okay. So I will, for this fourth exercise, I will give you the code, I will upload, you can execute and see how it works. Okay, so this is the code. It's a simple code, but number of lines are more. You need not to panic on seeing that. And there are several comments and all. They have used try method and all. Okay, sorry, not try method, exception handling and all they have used in this code. But the basic is same. Establishing the creating the socket, and then this is the chat things happen. We have received from method and all, send to method all. Okay, so this receive from method is returning two values, right? In our example, first value is data that is receiving data variable. The second value is the IP address and port number of the machine which is sending or from which we are receiving. That is available in ADDR. Okay, but in this code, how it is done is they are having only one variable, and this is becoming now array type of variable. So D of 0 gives you the data, D of 1 gives you the address. So here also I could have done that. I could have used this data. So data of 0 refers the data and data of 1 refers the address. I could have done this way also. Okay, I'll just execute and show. Okay, still it is running. Okay, so that is one difference you will see here. Otherwise, you will be able to understand this code. Okay, and then server side we have a socket creation and then the binding. Okay, while binding itself, socket itself, that for some reason socket you may be not able to create. Okay, when you are not able to create a socket, we have to handle it, handle the exception, right? If you don't handle the exception, then program will be closed abruptly. Okay, you have to close the program with printing some informative messages. Okay, so that's why they have used the exception handling concept. And you can remove the exception handling concept, and you can, so that the code will be very small. And here this is a chat application. No, multiple messages are going to be exchanged, not like our previous exercises where only one message we exchanged, but here multiple messages we are going to exchange. So while is used, while true, it's an infinite loop. It will keep running. Okay, so this is all you will be able to understand. It's not difficult. You will be able to understand. So I am sharing the code for the 4 exercises. Okay, so you can try it out. But the first 3 questions you have to write your own code, and you also can try. Now I am showing one client, one server. Okay, but generally if there is a server, multiple clients will try to connect to, right? So you can try it out. How, if you are so curious, okay, you can check how we can work with multiple clients trying connecting to the server. Okay, so you can take that as a homework and look into it along with these 4 questions. Okay, so any questions, students, before we wind up? Any questions? All the programs what I have showed and explained, I will upload them also along with the slide. Any questions you have now before we wind up?
No, sir.
Okay, so shall we end the meeting now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you, students. Take care. Bye, see you next week.
Thank you.
Questions also I will upload. Okay, take care, students. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Take care. Bye.